Inside the haunt industry attended the Northwest Terror Tour 2016. It had two parts, a Portland leg and a Seattle leg. I attended the Seattle tour while my cohort Dan Doble did both. We met for the Seattle leg outside one of the stops on the tour to get our badges and meet the rest of the staff and the attendees. Our bus, a massive Seahawks-themed charter, arrived a little after 6, and the group was off. Our first destination was about an hour's drive away, which served as the perfect amount of time for people to socialize on the bus. Spirits were high and everyone was enormously excited. Some had come from their own home haunts and still had the day's blood on their hands and clothes. The bus was filled with conversation and boisterous laughter as the sky darkened, and we sped towards the Haunted Nightmare at the Nile in Mount Lake Terrace, Washington.
You guys ready to exit this bus and go see a haunt? Yeah! Let's do this. You guys ready?
We were greeted by more rain and wind than we expected, but the group slipped down the walkway to check out the action. This haunt is built in an interesting way. Instead of being one single experience that you walk through, it's a series of different buildings. It gave us a good opportunity to cool off after each one and talk about what got us the most, or what we liked the best. And it staved off that visual confusion that comes from turning a corner from one theme into the next. When we asked what the theme was, a member of the staff said that it's everything, because a nightmare can be everything.
Enter the tomb of Akhenaten if you dare.
Each of the 5 parts is a separate themed experience entirely. Some were calmer, with less engagement, and others were packed with wild actors and jump scares. Each set was detailed, bursting with ambiance, and well designed, with features including beautiful background music, hanging props, glow paint, tight dark spaces, 3D glasses, energetic actors. All in all, it was about a 20 to 25 minute experience. Afterward, the gang got back on the bus and we drove about 40 minutes to the second haunt of the night, Fright Factory. The bus took us down a narrow, dark road in Buckley, Washington, and dropped us off at a massive haunt. We waited in line in an old farm building and were let into the haunt in small groups. This is another multi-themed haunt, but it takes place in one large setting. It took us, again, another 20 to 25 minutes to walk through, and it stood out to us the most at the end of the night for its sheer amount of disorientation. Fright Factory pushes your limits, but only a little at a time, allowing you to recover for a moment after, say, being isolated in pitch darkness for several minutes. It was heavy on the visual distortion and had several instances of interactivity between the actors and the guests. It wasn't full contact, but it took control away from you enough to make you feel like you were at its mercy. By the third part of the trip, we had a sleepy bus of haunters. We got back to Fright House Station, also known as the Pierce County Asylum, in Tacoma right at 11:30, which is when the haunt closes. The rain had put us a little bit behind schedule. Fright House had agreed to do one more go-round for us, but they said that some of the staff were teenagers and had to leave before we were able to go through. I suspect we got 90% of the full experience because of this, but the actors that remained brought the energy full force. The haunt takes place on 2 different levels, with 2 different themes. Each level got quite a few screams out of us and featured props both static and moving that absolutely blew our minds. None of these haunts were full contact, but each one gave us a unique and startling experience that will certainly last in my mind for years to come. The staff at each venue was courteous, helpful, and kind. The group dispersed after Fright House Station with many thank yous and goodbyes, and the haunters scattered back to their cars. This has been Cecilia Abadi, reporting for Inside the Haunt Industry. IHI hopes to see you on the next Terror Tour.